Hi, I'm Justin Jensen, and welcome to my channel. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust, sweat, and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and may fall again and again, because there is no effort without error or shortcoming. Teddy Roosevelt. Hello, how's everyone doing? Let me make sure you can hear me first. Is my audio on? Yes, it is. Thank you guys. Good morning. Bonjour. How are you doing this morning? I hope you are well. Good morning. Hit that thumbs up while you come in. Well, today is the day for court. We're all going to be in court today. Yay! Thank you all for being here. You could have chosen to be anywhere, but you chose to be here with me. And for that, I am forever thankful. What's everyone doing this morning? As I like to say, the devil works hard, but Justin works harder. Amen, Elsie. Amen. Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. Yes. I'm going to be talking a lot today. We're going to be doing some call-ins and thought we could look over some articles, maybe even a couple other cases that I've been getting a lot of requests on. How am I already put together? Well, I get up at 5 o'clock every morning. 5 o'clock. So, did you see the News Nation interview with the Pennsylvania public defender and Brian Ensign? I did not, but we can look over that. Did you hear about the two neighbors video? Two neighbors, maybe refresh me on that. Thank you, LC. Thank you, Jamie. Good to see you guys. So what we're going to do, good morning. We're going to, I do want to look over the affidavit today. I want to take it word by word, and I want to dig deep, and hopefully we can understand it even further. It is going to be closed to the public. The court is going to be closed to the public. However, as soon as court is over, shouldn't take that long, we will be able to watch the court proceedings just like the last time the court proceedings happened. Right as it wrapped up, we got the feed from News Nation. Brian Neighbor said, oh yeah, we're going to go over that. Yes, we're going to go over that. I didn't know it was Brian. Did he do like an actual interview, or is it just an article interview? because if you, I mean, I can do both. I have it right here, I believe. Neighbor of Brian Coburger says suspect talked about the Idaho murders. So Brian Coburger's neighbor in Pullman, Washington, he says that the suspect in the murder of the 4 University of Idaho students spoke to him about the killings days after they occurred. The neighbor asked not to be identified. You know, it's interesting how, you know, in the video, the police cam video, how they immediately, you know, Brian and his father, they immediately start talking about the murders. I'm very conflicted about Brian's father. A part of me thinks he didn't know but suspected, and a part of me thinks he knew. I don't know yet, though. Oh my goodness, Catherine, thank you, my love. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. Very kind of you. Hoping to see the court hearing before I get knocked out for dental surgery. Good luck. Oh, I do want to say a couple things, and I pray that everything goes good for your dental surgery. By the way, there, Jesse. God bless. I want to say, please give good thoughts and prayers to Muscles and Mascara. She is in the hospital right now. She is ill, and she could use your prayers. So those of you that know Muscles and Mascara, great member of the community. She's a Patreon of mine as well, and a really good soul she is, and she really cares a lot about these cases and the victims. And also Camille, if you would, our Camille, who is in here all the time, she gives 1 million memberships out all the time for the channel, which is, I can never thank her enough. She is has been sick a lot the last week or so. So if you could pray for her, I would appreciate it. Thoughts, good vibes, whatever, as long as it's good. That's all that matters. Thank you, Robbie, so much. I appreciate your super sticker. It's very kind of you. Thank you. So yeah, you know, life, it has a way of dealing us things sometimes that, you know, at any turn could happen to us. Life can change literally in a second. And I think the longer we live, the more we realize that. And also when we look into these cases, you know, you think of, you know, Maddie, Kaylee, all of them who, you know, they were in the back of that Uber. They were living life, laughing, giggling, just ready to eat their food, right? And they got home and they didn't wake up the next day. They were kids still. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Camille. Thank you, honey. God bless you, honey. We are sending prayers and good thoughts to you as well. Thank you, my love. I appreciate it. So, good morning from Melbourne. I love Melbourne. So I want to go. So yeah, just sending positive thoughts and vibes. This world is negative enough, and if we're here for each other as a community, as a fellow human, it's all we need in life. Really, it really is. So let's go ahead and continue with this article. and see what it's about. It is never promised. It is never promised women are sacred. You are absolutely right. I I have worked at funeral homes before, and you know that you really realize. And I think if you're a nurse, a doctor, anything in that, you really understand it really well. And I also volunteer for hospice, and um, it's life can be very short. It's short if you live 100 years, and it's really, really, really short for a lot more than that. So Brian Koberger's neighbor, the neighbor doesn't want to be identified, but the neighbor says that Brian spoke to him or her days after the murders occurred. And the neighbor says, quote, he brought it up in conversation, end quote. The neighbor exclusively told CBS News on Wednesday, he asked if I heard about the murders, which I did. I mean, let's just say it. I don't think there was a soul in that area, in that region for that matter, that did not hear about that. And which I did. And then he said, quote, yeah, seems like they have no leads. Seems like it was a crime of passion, end quote. Now that's an interesting comment, isn't it? A crime of passion. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. It's very kind of you. Thank you. A crime of passion. Now, to me, he felt like he felt very confident. It seems like they have no leads, he's saying. Well, that's what you thought, and that's what we thought. But meanwhile, the Moscow PD, the FBI, and many others, were marshals, all of that, were checking you out, buddy. And you had no idea. None. Which is how it's really supposed to go, And he says it's a crime of passion. Quote, at the time of our conversation, it was only a few days after it happened, so there wasn't much details out, the neighbor added. The search warrant for Kohlberger's apartment in Pullman, Washington, has been temporarily sealed by an Idaho judge. The judge said the details could, quote, prematurely end the investigation, end quote, and, quote, create a threat to the public safety, end quote. Now, Kohlberger is charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder in the deaths of students Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogen, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chaplin, who were stabbed at the women's off-campus rental home in Moscow, Idaho. Few details were released about the investigation into the murders until after Kohlberger was arrested at his family's home in Pennsylvania in late December, more than a month after the November 13th murders. An affidavit dealing with police tracked down the suspect was unsealed after he was extradited to Idaho. Kohlberger is set to appear in court Thursday, which is today. University of Idaho students are returning to class for the first time since Kohlberger's arrest. Many, like Madeline Pullick, are expressing relief. Quote, I was kind of glad to see a lot of cops around just in case something did happen. They would be there, end quote, she said. But, quote, it is just feels very relieving knowing he's behind bars, end quote, which is, I can only imagine for that campus how, better they have to feel, um, knowing that he's behind bars. This is, I was just thinking, this house, the way it is set up, and the location that it is, the parking lot in the back, you can sit in the back and literally watch them in their kitchen, right? You can and he did. We know that he did for weeks upon weeks. And I'm sure there was that he did this more than probably the affidavit says, because might have kept his phone off or whatever. Catherine, that's very generous. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. It's very kind. Thank you so much. Patty, thank you so much. Very kind of you. Must be hard for DM to return. Had to fight for my $5 refund from Amazon. I want you to have it. Many blessings. Oh, Patty, thank you. I'm sorry I had to fight for your $5 refund. Thank you. It's very kind. Hello, dear. Good to see you. What time is he due in court? So he is due in court in 1 hour from now. We got 1 hour. Yes, guys, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up, I would appreciate it. Good day and great raising, y'all. I wish you all had a wonderful Thursday. I wish you have a good Thursday as well. All right. What do y'all want to do? You want to, should we go over more articles, or do you want to go over the affidavit? And maps, because I have been working on it. Are they going to allow any media? They are going to allow media in the court. However, they're not going to allow cameras live. So they can record, they can't tweet or anything during the court session. However, they can show us as soon as it is over. Yes, 8 p.m. Pacific. Roach, that's a good question. There has been no clarity on that, on those front doors. It makes you wonder. All right, so let's look at this affidavit. People are saying the affidavit, so we'll go for that. All right. Now, we're going to, as we go through this, we're going to talk about it, but not only talk about it, we are going to look at the maps. I'm the map, I'm the map, I'm the map, I'm the map, he's the map. Oh my gosh, I don't know who gave me the membership. Thank you. I just noticed I'm green. Ooh, yay. You green. We'll do classes online and be with it and be with her family. I can't see her going back to campus. It would be a circus right now. Yeah, it's probably not right for her to go back right now. It's going to take a long time to get over, not over, but to learn to deal with it. Dora and Boots. Dora and Boots. I'm the map. My kids aren't into cartoons anymore, but they once were. My goodness. Okay. Let's get to where Okay. I followed OFC Smith upstairs to the third floor of the residence. The third floor consisted of 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. The bedroom on the west side of the floor was later determined as Kaylee's room, hereafter Gonclave's. I later learned from the review of Officer Nunez's body cam, there was a dog in the room when Moscow police officers initially responded. Now, that is what I have a question on as well. So the dog says, or the affidavit says the dog is in the room. Come on, guys, let's hit that like. Hit it, 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 hit it. Because we were told that the dog was in another room. It doesn't say that here. It just says the dog was in the room. The room. So, but does that mean the dog was in a crate? They're not very specific on that, right? So, I later learned from the review of Officer Nunez's body cam, there was a dog in the room when Moscow police officers initially responded. The dog belonged to Gonclave's and ex-boyfriend Jack. I found out from my interview with Jack on November 13th, 2022, that he and Gonclave's shared the dog. OFC Smith then pointed out a small bathroom on the east side of the third floor. This bathroom shared a wall with Madison Mogan, hereafter Mogan, bedroom, which was situated on the southeast corner of the third floor. As I entered this bedroom, I could see 2 females in the single bed in the room. Both Gonclaves and Mogan were deceased with visible stab wounds. I later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on next to the bed to Mogan's right side when viewed from the door, in parentheses. The sheath was later processed and had K-bar, USMC, and the United States Marine Corps Eagle Globe, and anchor stamped on the outside of it. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA, suspect profile, left on the button snap of the knife sheath. Now, a single source of DNA is considered the best form, one of the best forms of DNA that you can get. I don't think he was expecting Maddie in the room, really. Possibly. The police officers, Stars, you're not kidding, because the chief said that particularly some of the younger police officers who responded, had to take a day or so off because they were just, they've just never seen anything like this. Usually small town police officers, they're not into these, murders that happen all the time, particularly gruesome, like really gruesome murders. In my opinion, I think Brian wanted a messy a messy crime scene. I think he thought it was going to be a wash for DNA, that it would trip him up a little bit. Or, you know how they say you plan something, and it never goes the right way. Well, that particularly happens when you're fighting with someone or struggling with someone, and they can fantasize this in their head a million times, but you have no idea what the next person is going to do. So it may, and probably didn't, um, go the way he wanted. Maddie might not have known if passed out, could have just thought it was a dream. You know, it's just so hard to say, because wouldn't the dog defend his mommy? I don't think, Labradoodles, they're not an aggressive breed. And he's still kind of a puppy-ish. I don't think he would have particularly defended Maddie, in my opinion. I know my dog wouldn't defend me. So just give it a treat. I'll be like, fine. By the state of the crime scene and other evidence, that was clearly his first crime, and he wasn't good as he thought. I agree, Just a Girl. I believe that this was his first murder. Now, did he ever come close to murdering anybody else, or was there something that happened that made him fantasize about murder? Was there, it could be something happened in his past that someone almost died, and it gave him, this feeling of power. It could have been something like, I don't know what the name for it is, but like when you're choking someone while you're doing whoopee, I guess that's what you call it. But and people actually die that way, right? So it could have been a sexual fantasy for him, as well. And it just, these people never, it's never enough. They start out by doing this, and then they have to increase to something else, and then they have to increase to something else. It's like a drug, for them. Okay, let's continue. As part of the investigation, numerous interviews were conducted by Moscow Police Department officers, Idaho State Police detectives, and FBI agents. Two of these interviews include BF and DM. Both BF and DM were inside the King Road residence at the time of the homicides and were roommates to the victims. BF's bedroom was located on the east side of the first floor of the King Road residence. Based upon numerous interviews conducted by MPD officers, ISP detectives, FBI agents, as well as my review of evidence, I have learned the following. On the evening of November 12th, 2022, Chapin and Kernodle are seen by BF at the Sigma House on the University of Idaho campus, 735 Ness Pierce Drive, at approximately 9 p.m. on November 12th to 1:45 a.m. So they were there 4 hours 40. They were there a while, 4 hours 45 minutes. On November 13th, BF also estimated that at approximately 1:45, Chapin and Kernodle returned to the King Road residence. BF also stated that Chapin did not live in the King Road residence, but was a guest of Kernodle. Goncalves and Mogan were at a local bar, the Corner Club at 202 North Main Street in Moscow. Goncalves and Mogan can be seen on video footage provided by the Corner Club between 10 p.m. On November 12th and 1:30 a.m. on November 13th. At approximately 1:30 a.m., Goncalves and Mogan can be seen on video at the local food vendor called the Grub Truck at 318 South Main Street in downtown Moscow. The Grub Truck live streams from their food truck on a streaming platform, Twitch, which is available for public viewings on their website. This video was captured by law enforcement. A private party, and the name is redacted, reported that he provided a ride to Goncalves and Mogan at approximately 1:56 a.m. from downtown Moscow in front of the Grub Truck to the King Road residence. DM and BF both made statements during interviews that indicated the occupants of the King Road residence were at home by 2 a.m. and asleep, or at least in their rooms, by approximately 4 a.m. This is with the exception of Kernodle, who received a DoorDash order at the residence at approximately 4 a.m. Law enforcement identified the DoorDash delivery driver who reported this information. You know, when you're looking at the Grubhub truck, Robbie, thank you for becoming a member. Welcome to the family. Everyone, please welcome Robbie to the family. Appreciate you, Robbie. Thank you. You know, when you look at the Grubhub video, you realize that it's close to 2 a.m. there, right? And they are literally dead. Literally dead in 2.5 hours from there. These are the last minutes of their life. And it's heartbreaking. It makes you wish you could just reach through the screen, stop time, and just get him out of that house, or get Brian, off a cliff or something. You know what I mean? It's very sad. It's very, very sad. You just wish you could do something. DM said she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. DM stated she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m. by what she stated sound like Goncalves playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedroom, which was located on the third floor. I would have liked for them in that statement. Court is going to be in 40 minutes from now. I would have liked for them to describe, why does it sound like she was playing with her dog? Was it because there was like a rumpus going on, or, was the dog barking? Could you hear her calling the dog? Or was it something more? I would have wished they would have went up a little bit, described it a little more. A short time later, DM said she heard who she thought was Goncalves say something to the effect of, quote, "There's someone here." Now, there's someone here. That comment. do you guys think she could even be referring to the delivery driver? Oh gosh, you're right, Stephanie. I didn't mention him because he wasn't in the vid, but that young man seemed wonderful. Maybe it was thought that myself, but I'm like, would he have put the dog up first if the dog wasn't in the room, or would he? I wonder if he would have done, like, if the dog was in their room, would he have murdered them still? Or did he say, go put the dog away? Or did he go put the dog away and come back? 500 likes and 1,600 in chat. Come on, let's get it up. Get it up. I don't know anymore, Justin. My brain is mush. Yeah. I think Murphy might, if he's been roaming or eating, and put him away. Well, I don't know. You know, to me, if that dog was in that room in the affidavit, it does not say that the dog is in a different room. It just says the dog is in the room. The scene of blood alerted the dog. Well, that's something I did notice, why it says she originally went to sleep in her room. I'm thinking she shut him in the room when she heard someone. I think BK bought a track phone and a prepaid phone and ordered Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box was on its way. I don't know about that. How do you become a member? Mods, please drop. Thank you. I see you already got it. Thank you. So Gonclaves says something to the effect of, there's someone here. Now, I wonder, I picture, this is a college house, right? Lots of people are constantly coming in and out of that house. We've seen it through videos multiple times. Now, she's saying there's someone here. Now, I wonder if she was thinking it was someone else's friends. Like, do you think she was caught off guard? Or do you think she just thought, oh, it's someone else's friend, someone's here? I don't know who it is, but I'm sure that there's been people in that house that, Kaylee or Maddie knew and Xana didn't, or vice versa. A review of records obtained from a forensic download of Kernodle's phone showed this could also have been Kernodle, as her cellular phone indicated she was likely awake, using a TikTok app at approximately 4:12 a.m. So, in the beginning, we originally thought, Robbie, thank you so much. Very kind of you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Gonsalves? Is that how you pronounce it? Okay, I'm saying it wrong. Pardon me. So, what was I saying? She originally went to sleep in the bedroom. Now, what was I saying? I got sidetracked. I apologize. 318 Moscow. DM stated she originally went to her own bed. Okay, I already read this part. Sorry. It jumps on me. Precision of crab seed. Okay. Okay. DM stated she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor and stated she awoken at 4 p. I've already read that part. She didn't see anything and heard the comment of someone bringing the. Okay. DM stated she looked out of her bedroom but did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. DM stated she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Colonel's room. So that would have been on the same floor. She didn't said it sounded like it was up. She said it sounded like it was coming from Colonel's room, right? So on the same floor. Then said she heard a male's voice say something of the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you," end quote. Now, I know a lot of people thinks that's very, very strange. Like I said, I understand questioning it. I don't understand the shaming of these people, when we don't know the whole story, particularly when others have survived and done very similar things. Now, also, have you ever been, you've been in a place, your house or someone's house, and you hear something outside and you either pop your head out the window and you can hear people in the other room and you're kind of listening, and then you're like really quiet though, you're like, you know what I mean, and you're just really quiet to kind of hear what they're saying, more or less. I can see her like doing that. She kind of heard someone crying or thought was crying, and then she's like, why, what's going on? Why is she crying? But to be honest with you, these are young women, young girls, and personally, they probably cried and was a little bit dramatic at times, as all of us are at that age. So I kind of picture, oh, okay, well, she may be crying. She kind of just listens in to see what's going on. To be maybe, some people do it out of concern, some people do it out of nosiness, some people do it out of nosiness and concern, just to know, or what's going on. She just broke up with her boyfriend. There we go. All right. At approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 1112 King Road, a residence immediately to the northwest of 1122 King Road, picked up distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper, followed by a loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times starting at 4:17 a.m. The security camera is less than 50 feet away from the west wall at Colonel's bedroom. Now, that's at 4:17. Now remember, at 4:12, Xana is still on her, she's still on her phone, right? She is still on her phone, texting, typing away. TikToking. Now, I want to make something clear. That audio that they said was, Ethan and Xana of the murder is not true. So please do not consider that as a fact. Okay? So, 5 minutes later, after, Xana is on TikTok, is when they start hearing things on the neighbors' cameras. And then they hear a loud thud. Now, a loud thud, is that someone falling? Is that, the bed moving? Are they throwing something, furniture? You don't know. You're fighting literally for your life. But to be quite honest with you, if you are caught off guard, which obviously anyone would be in their bed, if they stab you one time, it's pretty much over at that one stab, to be quite honest with you, unless it's like a leg or an arm or something. But anywhere from your neck down, to your groin area, you're pretty much done, because you are going to immediately, at best, start losing a lot of blood, which makes you weak. So it's not going to last long, that fight. If you are stabbed in the chest with a knife like this, you have less than 8 seconds of staying conscious. Less than 8 seconds. One stab. And a lot of, Mary just said you're fighting for your life and you're not screaming. You may scream a little bit, but I'll be honest with you. Most people don't scream. They are so caught off guard that they, shaking, right? Shaking, literally shaking, and you're trying to fight, and it is just seconds. It's just seconds. And that is true, Elsie. Alcohol does make your blood much thinner. Now, he could have been restraining the victim so they couldn't scream. That's why he forgot the sheath, holding on the victim like both hands. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know, but it's you're going to bleed. It particularly. I mean, if the throat is cut, it's. I mean, God forbid, but I don't know if any of them suffered any of that. Not that I'm aware of, but if that did happen, it's instantaneously, more or less, because you can't scream to begin with if that happens, and B, um, the blood, particularly with that kind of stabbing with your throat, is immense. Immense. It's going to, uh, this is trigger warning, but it's going to shoot blood like a water hose every time your heart pumps. Thank you, Susan. Thank you. It's very kind of you. I do appreciate it. Yes, Elsie, it's a very, very, and that is just almost instantaneous. So now, DM stated she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Kernoodle's room. DM then said she heard a male's voice say something to the effect of, quote, "It's okay, I'm going to help you," end quote. Now, we don't know who said that part. We don't know who said, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." I would like to think that it was Ethan. I hope it wasn't Brian. I hope Ethan got to say that. Rather than Brian. But again, we don't know that. Because if it was Brian, that is not only sick, but it adds insult to injury of what you just did and saying you're going to help someone. Well, no, you can't help someone after you just did something like that. It doesn't work that way. At approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 1112 King Road, a residence immediately to the northwest of 1122 King Road, picked up distorted audio of what sounded like a voice or a whimper, followed by a loud thud. A dog can be heard barking numerous times starting at 4:17 a.m. Okay, I already read that part. DM stated she opened the door a third time after she heard crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose. So, what is, something that covers your mouth and your nose? It's not like a full face of mask. It's, I wonder if it was just like, like a surgical mask or, something to that effect, just to, you couldn't really know who he was. Walking towards her, DM described the figure as a 5'10" or taller male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. Now, she did an excellent description of this guy. Did she think it was even the delivery driver, or Did she think the delivery driver forgot something to give her something? You meaning Xana or something? And, a friend that was over visiting one of the other girls, just they were carrying on, acting silly, who knows? Now, I don't think that. And she said the male walked past DM as she stood in a quote frozen shock phase. The male walked toward the back sliding glass doors. DM locked herself in her room after seeing the male. DM did not state that she recognized the male. This leads the investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene, which he was leaving right as she was opening that door. I believe that she would not be alive today if he saw her. She will hammer the nail in his coffin. Yes. And Camille, I mean, you know this. You come from a line of attorneys. The defense, they're going to give her a hard time. We know that, but she can literally. This is the thing. You can argue, the cameras, timings, and stuff, and all of that in court, and everything like that. But once you have all of these pieces together and you have an eyewitness, which is Dylan, who is an eyewitness. Now, she didn't think murders were taking place. She didn't think, there were 4 dead bodies while she was asleep, in my opinion. But regardless, she thought he was weird. I'm sure there's been a lot of weird, or what she thought weird guys at the parties before and stuff. But nonetheless, she did a great job describing him. So she literally can put him away. Because listen, not all murders have witnesses. You got to remember that. They just have the evidence that is left. That's all they have, is the evidence that is left over. Here, they have physical evidence. They have evidence like electronics, cameras, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi's, his cars, everything like that. And they have a human. So, all right. Let me, I'm going to look right here real quick to see if Brian Inton has. Let's see if we got anything going on here. He has tweeted. Nope. He has not tweeted yet. At all. See these, this is like a sheet like they were talking about. She is And she is definitely traumatized. Definitely traumatized. Hold on one second. I see you. I'm going to text you real quick because I need to know something. You don't mind. All right, so let's I don't think anything is going to be going on until after the court, but we'll see. Let's look just real quick. Court's supposed to start in about 12 minutes. Police looking for dash cam footage in Brian Christopher Kohlberger. The DoorDash driver may have had a dash cam. That would have been interesting, wouldn't it? If the DoorDash driver had a dash cam as well as other en route Brian Kohlberger. They put his face in there. It's creepy. Creepy. Okay. Just getting some messages in so I can see where I can. All right. 2 seconds, guys. Just want to make sure I'm getting out everything. Pulled. I'm just trying to see if there's a live feed anywhere going on. For I'm just trying to make sure there's no live feeds anywhere going on right now. Was live. When was this? Brian Burger. The court is supposed to start in about 11 minutes from now. Now, there is not we're not watching like live court. It'll come afterwards. And 1 second. Getting information in. Okay, I got it. Hold on 1 second. Thank you, ICU. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. I just emailed that to myself. Perfect, 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 perfect. This is what's the shit? What's the county again? Let me think. What's the county again? County. It is like that's what it is. Okay, got it. Thank you. JK. There we go. Do we know which judge? Which judge? Don't judge me. I just tweeted that he will not be allowed to tweet. Yes, yeah, we know we know that he can't tweet or anything. The only thing they can do is film, and then once it's done filming, then they'll be able to play it. Marshall, Megan, Judge John Marshall. Let me check here. Late. Okay. Megan, okay. This one. Okay. Okay. So that was basically nothing. So we're just going to have to literally wait until things start coming out from court. I wonder, it shouldn't take long. It really shouldn't take long for them to yeah, no one is allowed to live stream it at all whatsoever. Will he decide to defend himself? No, he's not going to defend himself. He's definitely going to need some help. Now, what makes me wonder is if he's going to become so arrogant about everything that he does, right? That, will he end up? Because, I mean, I don't even know if you can defend yourself in court for something like a murder trial. I mean, I guess you could, but like your attorneys, they have to be special attorneys to do, particularly if you're facing the death penalty. If you're facing the death penalty, now that's a whole different ball game, right? Only a fool represents himself as they say. Yeah, I mean, look at Brooks. Remember Brooks? That was like the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. Okay, we'll watch. WFLA. 1 second, guys. I'm going to try to.
Want to say hi to some of the.
Get this. 2 seconds. Latest video. All right, so we will we'll watch some of JB too. Hashtag Hey JB. Oh, crap. It's not under that one. WFLA. Why does it do this? Here we go.
Commenters joining us, Michael Lyon in our comment section saying hello. You can use hashtag HeyJB as our moderator. Michelle Widener is noting here.
Now, to look at that, look at the pooch there. He does not.
Joining us, Michael Lyon.
I mean, he's just a sweet little puppy.
In our comment section saying hello. You can use hashtag HeyJB as our moderator. Michelle Widener is noting here. Make sure you use hashtag HeyJB to have your comments featured. We will be going to your comments, but really important is my eyes going in this direction, because right here on this touch screen here in the Stream Center, I'm paying attention to when we're actually going to get the playback of the court feed. So I'll be looking here quite a bit. The screen to my left, comments. Screen to the right is the live feed, and we are tapped into the feed itself, but it doesn't show anything at the moment because we haven't even begun the actual court hearing itself. When it concludes, they will feed it back our way, and you will be able to watch it here live on stream. So let's go over where we are in this case. News Nation's.
So what will happen? We will literally all get it back at the same time. We will all get the live feedback at the exact same time, because nobody can get it while it's happening, unfortunately. I did see Brooks has a lawyer now for his appeal. What a joke. Well, he's going to be appealing his appeals.
Robert Sherman is going to be joining us in just a few minutes. Great to have Robert back on stream. We will be trying to bring in additional guests as well. And as it stands right now, we'll talk more about this towards the end of the stream. Peter Tragos, the lawyer will be in here later this afternoon. We plan on launching a second live stream today to do a legal Q&A. There's so many questions pertaining to Brian Coburger, his defense, the prosecution, the evidence, the witnesses in this case, and exactly how this is going to take shape in the days, weeks, and months ahead. There's so many questions, and Peter is visiting us here in the Stream Center here at WFLA to help break that down. And I'll be tweeting out some more details about that in the hours ahead. So really hope that you'll be joining us for a two-stream kind of day here at WFLA. Also, before we go into some of the particulars, some of the specifics, want to point out, if you click on the link in the description on this video, it's actually in the pinned comment. Moderators, I'll ask you guys to help us out as far as sharing out the bit.ly link. We have our featured report today, an expert on what the Idaho murder suspect Brian Coburger wanted to see. If you click on the link, that bit.ly link, it'll take you over to WFLA.com for more on some fascinating observations by an expert that was interviewed for, again, our featured report. So you can click on the link. And again, as a reminder, you can always come back to the live stream. We're still at least 10, 15 minutes away from the actual feed coming in upon the conclusion of the court hearing in Moscow, Idaho. We're going to be bringing in News Nation's Robert Sherman here in just a moment. He just hopped on the Zoom call here, and he's going to be actually, you know what? Why don't we bring in Robert now? Let's say hi, everybody. News Nation's Robert Sherman joining us there on Zoom. Robert, where are you joining us from? I mean, you're of course still following very closely the Idaho story, the murders of the 4 University of Idaho students, but where are you joining us from? And good morning to you.
Good morning to you as well. Joining you from McAllen, Texas today. Just kind of been jetting around the country over the last couple of days, but still keeping a very close eye on Idaho and probably going back there in the next couple of days, but juggling a few different assignments right now. I'm sure that you've been diving into a lot of this already on the show, so apologies as I'm just getting caught up here, but it's kind of jury's still, no pun intended, jury's still out as to, what exactly we're going to be getting out of this status hearing today in Idaho. I mean, it could be pretty quick and pretty, just purely logistical, in terms of what laying out what the rest of this case is going to be, the trial process, if he'll waive his right to a speedy trial, and this could be dragged out. who knows? I mean, I wouldn't necessarily expect anything crazy or groundbreaking to happen today, but then again, you never know what could possibly happen in that courtroom.
That's very true. And of course, we're going to be paying very close attention as whenever you have cameras inside of a courtroom. And again, this video here in the center of your screen, folks, this is from the first court appearance last week. But anytime you have cameras inside of a courtroom, any interactions that you see the suspect have, the accused have when it comes to speaking to their representation, their reactions, their facial reactions, oftentimes when it comes to something that the judge is talking about at that moment, even when they're asked to respond, their tone and inflection, these are it gets micro analyzed with of course the fact that we have so often HD video from inside these courtrooms. So yes, it is a status hearing that we're about to, actually the time has just now become 11 Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. So if things are running on time, and I'm sure the reporters on Twitter that are inside the courtroom are going to be helping us follow along here, we're going to get, of course, some kind of correspondence and reports from outside of the courtroom as this transpires.
Hey, I want to show you guys something. Did you guys see this picture of Nancy Grace? I love this picture. Let me just show you 2 seconds. She's outside, like literally outside with the white table, filming in front of the house. So that was cool. We'll go back now. We left.
But if this is starting on time, it's happening right now, Robert. And this would set up a preliminary hearing potentially, provided that the defense doesn't waive.
So about right now is when it should start.
The preliminary hearing. There's a whole lot more that we could be learning about this case, and we also could be getting witness testimony as well, given what transpired last week with DM, again, the potential witness in this case, telling police that she saw the person clad in black wearing a mask walk right past her. The preliminary hearing could be massive.
It could be, and that would be the emphasis would be on the prosecution in order to establish that there's probable cause if it goes to a preliminary hearing. And in order to do that, pretty much just about everything that you saw in that affidavit is going to have to come to the forefront. You're going to have to bring those witnesses in. You're going to have to lay out this evidence and show the judge, yes, there is probable cause in this case. So we'll see if they have to go through that and have to jump through those hoops, or if that process is going to be waived and we're just going to be waiting for what comes next here. It's everybody wants some finality in this case, right? I mean, it seems as though that's the big thing, is that there's a lot of interest surrounding this case. People are hungry for justice. They're hungry for these few unanswered questions that they have to be answered as soon as possible. And you've got to let the legal process take its course. As we talked about a little bit on your show last time, JB, this isn't what anyone would really describe as a slam dunk case, right? You've got a piece of DNA evidence from the crime scene. You've got the car appearing on cameras around town. You've got cell phone pings. That's what they're going off. And then, of course, you have an eyewitness from inside of the house itself. That's what they're going off of. And, I know that there is such an emphasis now on ensuring that the investigation remains buttoned up from here until finality. Because if there is a mistake in the investigation, if evidence was gathered in an illegal fashion, it could really disrupt the integrity of the case. So, these are all the things that people are going to be watching for. Everything has to be done very fastidiously from here on out. And we'll see what happens over the coming weeks and the coming months.
Yeah, Robert Sherman joining us again. Everybody, Robert Sherman, a correspondent for News Nation. I have to remind that we're always constantly engaging a new digital audience here on WFLA Now. And I have to always remind our audience every few minutes that we are waiting for the replay of the courtroom feed. So if you're just joining us and you're saying, hey, where is the actual court hearing itself? We are waiting for it to be legally allowed to be showed. And it will be from a replay, a refeed, if you will, outside of the courtroom. So that will come our way. And the moment that it is allowed, I can hit a button here. I'll be looking here quite a bit, and we'll be able to play it back live on stream as an as live, if you will. Brian Enton tweeting out a short time ago, our friend Brian Enton, about to go through security into the coburger hearing. Live tweeting not allowed, but I will update when it's over and be live on News Nation. Now, they say that live tweeting isn't allowed, and that is so often the case with so many court jurisdictions across the country. But every now and again, it's still very commonplace for what's happening inside of a courtroom to find its way out, whether it's somebody leaving the courtroom and passing along information. This isn't that big of a hearing for that really to happen because of how short this is going to be. Brian might be, depending on if they're on schedule, Brian Enton might be on the way out of the courtroom, as would other reporters be within the next several minutes, Robert. It could be that brief. And then, of course, we will have the replay of the feed itself.
Right. And I know that there are some people out there who get frustrated by the fact that we can't get a live stream from inside the courtroom or can't get live tweeting there. And I think the thing to keep in mind here is that, I mean, especially with a lot of these cases, I mean, let's remember that a gag order was put in place here in this case. I mean, with any one of these cases, you really have to take a few different things into account. One is ensuring that the defendant gets a fair trial and the prosecution is able to go through their processes without public information swirling, interfering with the legal process. You also have to take into account that at some point the public does have a right to know what happened. And then you also have to take into account the First Amendment and journalism and the freedom of press. So you have to weigh all of those different factors at play here in order to determine, what is the best way to navigate here. And this is what the conclusion has come to is that, yeah, I mean, we're all going to be able to see what happened inside that courtroom, what is said by Brian Coburger, his counsel, what witnesses say, but it's not going to be done live. It's going to be coming in after the fact from a pool feed. So, and as you said, JB, I mean, we're living in the past here in terms of, what's happening inside of that courtroom. We're going to learn after the fact, but that could be coming down any minute, could be another 10 minutes. It's just hard to know. It's hard to be certain as to what's going to come out of this today.
The moment that it pops up, folks, we'll be playing it back. We will be, of course, muting our audio and just listening in to the raw courtroom feed. So if that's what you're here for, you haven't missed anything, stand by. As soon as it's legal for us to do so, we will be playing it back for you here live on stream. In the meantime, let's get to some of the hashtag AJB questions and comments coming in the Facebook Live, YouTube Live comment section. Nancy, hashtag AJB, can anything prevent this preliminary hearing from happening? And the answer is yes. The answer is that they can waive the rights of the preliminary hearing. And if they do that, I don't know what the odds are. And Robert, you can chime in here. The likelihood that they waive the preliminary hearing, I don't know if that's something that is all that likely. I guess it depends on the strategy here. But as I understand it, really anything is possible.
Right, exactly. And I think it's worth remembering that the status hearing that we have today was asked for by Brian Coburger's counsel. And I mean, then there's going to be a discussion today as to what the rest of this is going to look like. I mean, you said it right, JB, is that, I mean, a lot of this is legal strategy here. And, legal counsel is going to do what's best for their client. And that's what they're going to advocate for. So, I mean, this could be a, nope, we're good, open and shut, kind of situation here. We'll see you in court. Or this could be a bit more drawn out and there could be more discussions taking place here. We kind of have to be ready for anything.
Amber, hashtag AJB, maybe a question for the next stream. And we are planning on doing another stream that is really focused on the legalities of this case later on today with Peter Tragos, the lawyer, but would there be any way to tell how long we'd be waiting to see a trial take place if they decide to go to trial? There's two things that come into play here. One, of course, your right to a speedy trial and whether or not you're going to waive your right to a speedy trial, but also just how backlogged things are in Idaho. I don't know what the court docket looks like as far as Idaho right now and how when exactly a trial would get scheduled. Robert, have you heard anything on that as far as how soon a trial could actually get underway in this case?
Well, I mean, you hit the nail on the head with your first point there, JB, is that you are entitled to a speedy trial. And that's part of what this today is the status hearing is that, I mean, Brian Coburger could waive his right to a speedy trial. And then all of a sudden, you're looking at post 6 months from now before anything takes place. It's just hard to say. And a lot of these questions are going to be answered probably within the next hour, potentially within the next couple of minutes. But I mean, that's a large part of what's going on today, is looking at those logistics of do exactly, you know, when is this all going to be taking place?
I'm really glad to see this comment from Scioli 700 #KJB. Brian is innocent until proven guilty. We talk so often.
Important.
Yeah, so important. We talk all the time about how the court of public opinion issues their convictions the moment that they have a mugshot. I mean, a mugshot comes out, guilty, guilty, guilty is usually what you'll see online. But we have a legal process in this country. He is innocent until proven guilty. And, you know, we talked to Peter Tragos last time about how strong, and you've noted it as well, how strong really is this evidence. We'll get into the evidence here in just a moment as we, again, wait for the courtroom feed to come, you know, really at our fingertips. But how strong really is that evidence? I mean, there's different components. We've got forensics, digital forensics. We've got a possible suspect who possible witness who saw the suspect. There's the vehicle component, but really just how strong and how many holes can you poke in this arrest affidavit? There's been legal analysis left and right on various networks, Robert, but this is a big question ahead of trial.
Right. You know, of course, you know, you have to remember the evidence standard that we're using here. I mean, this isn't tort law where you have a preponderance of evidence standard, which basically means you only need to be 51% sure that something was done here or not. You've got to prove this beyond reasonable doubt. And the burden of proof is on the prosecution. So, I mean, as we were saying, JB, and, you know, of course, I'm not an attorney. I don't have a JD, you know, I would, this would be more best for one of your expert guests. But I mean, you look at the list of evidence that's here, you know, if one of these pieces falls through or something like that, all of a sudden, you know, I mean, getting a conviction and getting to that beyond reasonable doubt threshold gets significantly more difficult. So there's still a long way to go here. And law enforcement has made very clear that their goal is to get a conviction. But I mean, as we all know, I mean, you've got to convict the right person, and every defendant is entitled to their day in court, and they're entitled to fair defense and the opportunity to have their voice heard.
Let's go over the key discoveries, a brief recap while we are waiting for this courtroom feed to come up and pop up on my screen here. Let's go over just a really brief recap, Robert, as we did the last time you and I were on stream. We did it over the course of 2.5 hours. You know, it was interesting. We got so many comments from people saying that they wanted the live stream last time to be longer, when I think it was roughly the length of the first Avatar movie, and they wanted even more coverage. It just goes to show that there's a massive appetite for information when it comes to this story. So many people are gravitating towards the details and want to ask about line 6 on page 4 or line 4 on page 6. But let's just kind of go over really quickly the recap of some of the key discoveries in the probable cause affidavit. We really knew that there were going to be several components. We knew that there was going to be, to an extent of some kind, that there was going to be some forensic component. We had, of course, inkling that there was going to be digital forensics that was going to be part of it as well. And we knew that the vehicle was also going to be part of this process because it was so integral for police to actually track down Bryan Kohberger. The big surprise to all of us was the fact that DM, one of the surviving roommates inside of the house, saw a figure clad in black walk right past her, wearing a mask covering the nose and the mouth, and leave through the back sliding glass door. That was the big reveal, if you will, of the probable cause affidavit, that really nobody saw that coming.
No, nobody did. I mean, especially since the guidance that we were given since the beginning is that all of this took place in the victim's sleep, and that it was just really like two surviving roommates woke up to see the carnage that was left behind. And now you get this information that comes out about a roommate seeing somebody inside of the home, and, you know, the chilling details and the way that she was described as effectively being petrified and scared into not being able to move in that moment, really shed some light on, how scary of a situation this was. Naturally, JB, I'm sure that everyone who is watching right now, and just about everybody on Twitter, is still asking the same question. Why was there that long gap between the moment in which the roommate saw the person inside of the home and then calling 911 about 7?
So Brian Inton tweeted 2 minutes ago, Brian Coburger preliminary hearing has been set for June 26th at 9 a.m. He was in court today in an orange T-shirt and told the court he waived his rights to a speedy trial hearing, no bail. Wow. Okay.
And 8 hours later. And I wish that I could look into a crystal ball and I could tell you what was going on inside that one survivor's head. We cannot. And, it's speculating at this point doesn't really do much good for anybody. In all likelihood, that roommate is going to have to enter some testimony into this victims, for these victims' families in order to get more information in this case and to see the legal process carry out. You think about the fact that this all happened in mid-November and we're looking at the summer of the following year as when this is going to be a preliminary hearing. And that's just the preliminary hearing, a long drawn out process.
Long. I'm always first mind, always thinking about the victims. First thing that pops into my brain, and the victims' families in this regard. And to wait 6 months for a preliminary hearing. We were talking, people were asking, one of the comments earlier was when we were going to have, the beginning of a trial and when the actual trial process was going to get underway. And just a 6 month delay, that catches me by surprise. Robert, does it catch you by surprise as well?
It's a little bit hard to say, because it's all about strategy here. I think that I expected,
and not to interrupt you, this is mutually agreed upon, as I understand it. So both of these sides came to this date. You have to wonder if one of the sides wanted this to be even beyond 6 months, and this was the compromise. We'll find out more in a minute.
I'm sure that we will. I'm sure that we're going to be getting more information in just a couple of minutes here. But as we've said before, every defendant is entitled to a right to their best defense. And, if the public attorney and the public defense counsel who was appointed to Brian Coburger felt so that this was the best strategy for them, they're absolutely going to advocate for it. And that's part of the legal system here.
What does everybody think? We're going to spotlight some #KJB comments. What do you think?
We will not get any information till at least June.
New evidence.
Nothing.
Of course, get witness testimony. It is setting the stage for the trial in and of itself. What do you think of the preliminary hearing being scheduled for approximately 6 months from now, that being June 26th in Idaho? Hold on, I'm getting an alert. Okay, stand by. All right, sorry, folks. I was just being communicated to in my ear that there will be feeds coming down here momentarily. Robert, if you can kind of take things over here for a second as I talk with our feeds, folks. Lawyers need to prepare for the trial, but 6 months is too long. I think a lot of folks are saying that online at the moment.
Right. And again, it's all going to come back to, how does this process
should be any moment, guys.
Forward. And I understand, a lot of people feeling that way here, but there are, criminal cases, which last years in the legal system. It's not totally uncommon for something like this to happen. And again, it's which factor is the most important here? Because there's several that you do have to weigh here. There are a lot of people who want justice swiftly. That's something that has to be considered. The public has a right to know and to be informed at some point. That's something to be considered. But it's also due process for a defendant. That's something that has to be considered. So how do you weigh all of these different factors here is in many cases how all of this ends up shaking out. And, exactly, we're going to learn momentarily exactly how this date was arrived upon and what the back and forth was like in the courtroom. As the folks over there figure out, the feed situation. But surely we're going to be getting more information on this rather momentarily. There's just a lot to consider. There's a lot to consider in any one of these processes.
Yep.
And, as we get forward here over the next few months, surely that's going to be tough for these families in order to think about, how long it's going to take for them to serve justice. But you look on the other hand as well, Brian Coburger is not being offered bail, so he's going to be sitting in jail for those 6 months, waiting for this case to come up as well. So I mean, there's this is going to be a long time. This is going to be long and drawn out until we get to that preliminary hearing process.
We are moments away from the feed coming in. I actually tapped into a second feed that might come in first here in the Stream Center. So monitoring 2 separate feeds coming through on different technologies. The moment it's available, we're going to have it here live in the WFLA Now Stream Center. So we're going to be monitoring your comments here as we have Robert Sherman joining us from News Nation. Afterwards, we're going to be answering some questions, but some of the things that, of course, people are going to be looking for, demeanor, body language, just overall the conversation on how June 26th was selected as the date. And I believe now we do have the feed coming in. Let's listen in live from Idaho. Apologies, not live. Again, let me make this clear. This feed is coming in live, but this is the court hearing that took place a short time ago.
Here we go.
And it would appear that they are preparing to play it back, and they did play it back, and something didn't operate correctly. So you're looking here at the screen that they're using to feed that back.
It's live television. It never goes.
Waiting on somebody to hit the play button. And they also might have stopped because, and this is what will happen so oftentimes with live feeds, is somebody says they're not ready, that they're not recording. This is, in all likelihood, a pool feed. So all media outlets across the country have to be ready for them to receive this feed. And so they might have hit pause, a little bit of behind the scenes as to what's going on. And now it appears that they are trying to play it back. And here it is. This was moments ago in Idaho.
For fuck's sake.
And again, it appears some difficulties with the feed. This is going out to all stations right now. So all outlets. So if you're watching on a different live stream, you'll be seeing the same exact screen. No audio on this feed just yet. They will likely turn on audio once the court hearing begins. This was moments ago in Idaho, the status hearing for Idaho murder suspect Brian Coburger.
The bald guy's not Brian. Unless he shaved those eyebrows, and he's bald now.
All right, good morning. We are on the record. This is cause number CR 29222805. This is State of Idaho versus Brian Coburger. Mr. Coburger is in custody. He is appearing here in court with his attorneys, Ms. Taylor, Mr. Logsdon, Mr. Thompson, Ms. Jennings appearing on behalf of the state. This is the time set in the matter for the preliminary hearing status conference. So I am going to inquire of counsel. Ms. Taylor, what's the status at this time?
Thank you, Your Honor. We are going to ask the court to set preliminary hearing out into June. We would request the 3rd or 4th week of June and probably 4 or 5 days for preliminary hearing. Mr. Coburger understands his right to a timely preliminary hearing, and he's willing to waive the timeliness to allow us time to obtain discovery in this case and be prepared.
And Mr. Thompson, are you in agreement with that?
The state has no objection to that, Your Honor. Ms. Taylor reached out to us by email yesterday with her proposal. On reflection, the state's calendar would be better in the month of July, but we will make the end of June work if that's the court's preference. And I haven't had a chance to talk to Ms. Taylor about that. I'm sorry, I know that's last minute.
That's okay. The court's calendar is going to be better towards the end of June, early July. So would that work, Ms. Taylor, for your scheduling on your other matters?
Your Honor, yes, if we take that fourth week in June, that's actually best.
Okay. So, Mr. Coburger, I need to speak to you for a moment then. Sir, you do understand, and Ms. Taylor has represented here, that she's advised you of your right to have, or fully discussed with you, the right that you have, which is to have your preliminary hearing within 14 days of the date that you initially appeared before this court. As you recall, when I advised you of your rights, that hearing is a probable cause hearing, where the state has to establish that more likely than not, these felony offenses were committed and you were the one that committed the felony offenses. If you waive your right to a speedy preliminary hearing, it does not mean that you're giving up your right to have a preliminary hearing. It simply means that you would not be able to come back and challenge that the state did not present probable cause within 14 days. Do you understand?
Yes.
Have you had enough time to speak with Ms. Taylor about your decision to waive your right to a speedy preliminary hearing?
Yes.
Do you need any additional time to do so?
No.
Then I will ask at this time, as to the 5 counts, felony counts that were charged in the criminal complaint that was filed on December 29th of 2022, are you waiving your right to a speedy preliminary hearing and agreeing that that hearing can be held outside the 14-day period?
Yes.
And Ms. Taylor, do you concur with his waiver?
I do, Your Honor. Thank you.
I will find your waiver of speedy preliminary hearing is knowing, intelligently, voluntarily entered here in open court with the assistance of counsel. We will go ahead and set the matter for preliminary hearing. Monday, June 26th at 9:00 a.m. And I will go ahead and reserve the week, so June 26th to June 30th, in the event that we need all 5 days for presentation of evidence. And just so council knows, it will begin at 9 a.m. each of those days. Is there anything further to address at this time in the case, Mr. Thompson?
Not from the state's perspective, Your Honor, no.
All right. Or Ms. Taylor?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Coburger, then you will be remanded into custody on your same no bail at this point in time, pending further proceedings. Again, we'll send notice out to council and we will be in recess for this morning.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Breaking news on WFLA Now. Here's JB Buno.
The preliminary hearing for Idaho murder suspect Brian Coburger set for June 26th. Coburger making his second appearance in.
What the hell was those cuts? What was that? He looked like he was about ready to fall over. He looked so weak when he was coming back, when he was leaving. I mean, this thing, like he had one right here and it looked long. Like if you cut yourself shaving that way, you wouldn't, What is it? He's probably not eating. He looks way skinnier, in my opinion. Electric razors in jail suck. They have electric razors in jail? He looks very frail. They're not going to cuff him in court now. Fingernail scratch. I mean, I can't see him being with anyone in the general population. Do you think it would be? I mean, I can't see him with being in general population. Extra pale. Let's go to Twitter, because I bet you anything people's already got pictures of that. See if Brian Ensign has something real quick. Okay, Brian, nothing. Let's see if Idaho 4. Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to do something. Okay, we're going to zoom in close. What do y'all think? Look how dark underneath his eyes are, guys. He's anemic as fuck. I mean, maybe. You know what? I hope he really cuts his neck shaving. After trial, that is. He's not sleeping. What? Looks like bruising on his neck. Look at his eyes. Fucking devil, man. He does look like a snake pad. He really does. Yep, he's sick. He got caught. Get him coming in, Justin. Okay. Let me see if I can back up and get him coming in earlier. 1 second. Let me. Okay. Here he is coming in. Let's get him coming in.
And I haven't had a chance to talk to Ms. Taylor about that. I'm sorry, I know that's last minute.
That's okay. Of course.
Can y'all see that? Make sure y'all can see that. Okay. It's hard to. Let's see. Look, he's a snake. Watch that. Creepy McCreeperson. Creepy McCreeperson. Here you can see it. You can see it right here. There you go. Did a titty tat here. Capture. Okay. There's that. Okay, I got that one. We'll see if we can. All right, they'll zoom in a second. Took screenshots to check it out. I bet you, okay, let's go back to 1 second. Let's go back to Twitter because I guarantee it. This is going to cause alarm again. Let's see here. Brian Coburger. Okay.
I need to speak to you for a moment then. So you understand, and Ms. Taylor has represented here.
Joe Razors will
advised
do
you of
that.
your right to have or fully.
His little skin is probably not used to that jailhouse shit yet. Little vegan. Honestly, he looks, he needs some iron or
the right that
something.
you have, which is to have your preliminary hearing within 14 days of the date that you would.
1 second, let me just. Neighbor clinic. Okay, here we go. Let me try something. I mean, that's like a long cut. That's what. He might have just done it prior to. Shaving nicks, or did someone beat the out of him? Okay, let's see here. Let's see if I got mine yet. We'll look at this in a second. Where the fuck did it go? Page 3. Page 4. He waived his right to a speedy trial, guys. And let's see. Do y'all think those are, looks like bruises under his chin? It's more than likely a razor. But still, it's like he's definitely, for those of you just coming in, we'll play it real quick.
Then. Sir, you do understand, and Ms. Taylor has represented here, that she's advised you of your right to have or fully discussed with you the right that you have, which is to have your preliminary hearing within 14 days of the date that you initially appeared before this court. As you recall, when I advised you of your rights, that hearing is a probable cause hearing where the state has to establish that more likely than not, these felony offenses were committed and you are the one that committed the felony offenses. If you waive your right to a speedy preliminary hearing, it does not mean that you're giving up your right to have a preliminary hearing. It simply means that you would not be able to come back and challenge that the state did not present probable cause within 14 days. Do you understand?
Yes.
Have you had enough time to speak with Ms. Taylor about your decision to waive your right to a speedy preliminary hearing?
Yes.
Do you need any additional time to do so?
No.
Then I will ask at this time as to the 5 counts, felony counts that were charged in the criminal complaint that was filed on December 29th of 2022. Are you waiving your right to a speedy preliminary hearing and agreeing that that hearing can be held outside the 14-day period?
Yes.
And Ms. Taylor, do you concur with his waiver?
I do, Your Honor. Thank you.
I will find your waiver of speedy preliminary hearing is knowing, intelligently, voluntarily entered here in open court with the assistance of counsel. We will go ahead and set the matter for preliminary hearing.
I'm going to show you guys something right after this.
Monday, June 26th at 9:00 a.m. And I will go ahead and
All right, now let me show you what a jailhouse razor looks like. I'd never seen one, thank God. It's called an anti-shank razor. And it's one blade, and obviously it has no cushioning whatsoever. And it's a single blade. So he's not used to shaving with a single blade. He's not used to, so let me show you another one. Called this one. So it's just one single blade. You know, they don't make it cheaper. Yeah, it's $291 for 500. Looks very painful. Yeah, he looks mega thin. I wonder if he was like going on a hunger strike or whatever. That's what they call it, anti-shank. They can still get the blade out. Prisoners are very talented. Yeah. Yeah. It's called anti-shank razor. So, kids, listen, you learned what a jailhouse razor was today. Our Supermax institutional razor is the safest razor on the market today. A wide-based thumb grip makes the razor easy to handle, while its rubber-based body provides an unparalleled level of tamper resistance. Supermax is an ideal security razor for institutions such as prisons. Assorted colors: purple, blue, orange, green. $55 per bag. 100 razors per bag. Supermax, if you would like to sponsor me, I would appreciate it. I mean, I talk about prisons all the time. Hope they use this one and not the $281 one. So, I mean, I'll email you. I need a sponsor. I ain't picky. That's someone's putting money on his commissionary. Then someone's, oh, I'm sure that the razor is given back to the correction officer when the inmate is done shaving. Yeah. Who needs to shave in jail? I don't know. Recap, I just came in. Well, Brian just waived his right to a speedy trial. So the next trial meeting, hold on, I'm getting some information. The next speedy trial is June. Yet nothing's going to be, nothing, there's a gag order, right? So, like, literally nothing's going to be coming out. I'll show you a picture of Brian. We'll continue what we were doing in just a moment. This is him. His eyes, and you can tell the bushy eyebrows, right? With those eyes, it's very, but it appears, I don't know if it's razor cuts, razor burns, there's there. And to be honest with you, it looks like there's irritation there. So I think it's just from razors. They look a little bushy to me. Especially right here. He got turned into a snake. I mean, his look how dark he is under his eyes, right? Yeah, he's alive. And 4 victims aren't. He just looks really tired and drained to me. Yeah, when he got up, he looked, let me see if I can find that, if anybody else noticed that. Like, he just looked like he was about ready to fall over earlier. Here, let me show you this. I was like, is he weak? All right. Let me show you when he's getting ready to leave. Okay. Watch this.
Brian Ensign, of course, doing his work for News Nation and being physically in the courtroom. He was unavailable to join us on this live stream. I talked to Brian last night. It was just.
Come on, man. Let's see here. Okay. Watch this. Watch this when he gets ready to walk out. Let me find it. Okay.
Second appearance in Idaho court, answering to the charges of murdering the 4 University of Idaho students. Hello there, folks. JD here with you live on WFLA. Now let's bring back Robert Sherman. I'm just going to get right to our comment section. In our comment section.
6 to June 30th, Ms. Taylor. Okay. Mr. Coburger, then you will be remanded in custody on your saying no bail at this point in time.
When he gets ready to go through the door.
Again, we'll see this on council, and we will be in recess for this one.
Thank you, Your Honor.
See how he like pauses for a second? You can tell he's just weak.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Like right before he grabs his arm. It's kind of like it just feels weak to me. Doesn't it? His hair's crazy. I think he just got out of the shower.
Breaking news on WFLA now. Here's JB Buno.
You think he's confessed to the attorney? I mean, she can't say anything. Definitely looks ankle. Maybe he's on anti-anxiety meds and he's not eating. I mean, I wonder if he's doing a hunger strike or something like that. He's not going to last. Well, he's not. Yes, you have a scheduled showers before court. Okay. Yes, it's like, oh crap, I gotta go back to the dang cell, like forever. Good morning, Michelle. Bonjour. All right, so, that's craziness. So he waived his right to a speedy trial, which means we ain't getting nothing, basically, until June. Basically until freaking June, which El Stinkos, but, is it good? Is it bad or good that he waived? It's technically good, I guess, on both sides, because it gives everyone, this is going to be an extraordinarily high profile case, extraordinarily. And it's going, they need time to prepare both sides to the side of, Bryant and, of course, the state. They'll make sure he gets some type of nutrition one way or another. He will. What did Navy Vet Mama say? He will stand trial. Yeah. He's going to get enough. He had to be restrained, in my opinion, from some episode. Maybe. It's possible. He may have just had a fit. Thank you so much, Peggy, for your super sticker. It's very kind of you. I appreciate it. The next big day will be March 1st when they will unseal the apartment warrant. I can't wait to know about that apartment warrant, because there is something in there, guys. I'm telling you. Why did they seal that? Something's up. You don't just seal that. Anna Walsh updates. Anna Walsh. We can check real quick. I had a bunch of stuff I was planning on doing yesterday for Anna Walsh, but I didn't get to do it. Yeah, I just think his skin is not used to those razors. I guess after time, your skin would get used to them, right? Or do they never get used to them? Anna Walsh, her husband, is in the jail. Case shows horrible things happen in Cohasset. Okay. And a GIF. Everyone talking about this picture she posted. In the comments, she responded, "What happened? Freshly buffed marble floor at work." What does that mean? Mild concussion, bruised hip, and a cut. Oh my God, look at that on her arm, or not her eye, rather. Y'all see that? Won't they feed him through a tube if he tries to starve himself? Yes. Yes, they will. We know he likes victims that don't fight back. You're exactly right, Gypsy. He likes to catch them when they're in a vulnerable state. There's a rumor he got attacked in jail. I don't know how he would get attacked in jail. But listen, I mean, you remember what happened to Bundy, right? Remember what happened to Bundy? 3 of them went to go to the bathroom to clean the bathroom. And it got bad real freaking quick, right? Everyone talking about this picture she posted in the comments. She responded, "What happened? Freshly buffed marble floors at work." Now, does that look like a buffed marble floor to you? Mild concussion, bruised hip, and a cut. That's sad. I think her husband was a psychopath. Beautiful girl. Molly Palmer. Okay. Yes. Which I'll talk more about it later. The Anna Walsh case. Listen, her husband was described as a psychopath as well. It's kind of crazy. Okay, let's get back to this affidavit. So I'm getting sidetracked. All right. Now, during the what page is this? Okay. The combination of the DM statement and law enforcement review of forensic downloads of records from BF and DM's phone and video of a suspect's video as described below leads investigators to believe the homicides occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. Now, they downloaded BF and DM's phone and video of the suspect and video as described below leads investigators to believe the homicide. So 4 to 4:25, they downloaded Dylan's phone and stuff, which should let you know that, listen, there's nothing on there. I know all three Brians, Brian Laundrie, Brian Coburger, and this Brian Yahoo. That's what I said the other day. So we're going to look at some maps here shortly as well and see. I'm going to go turn by turn. The combination of DM statement to law enforcement, reviews of forensic downloads of records from BF to DM's phone, and video of the suspect. Okay, 4 to 4:25 p.m. So within 25 minutes, everything was done. Four people were murdered. During the processing of the crime scene, investigators found a latent shoe print. This was located during the second processing of the crime scene by the ISP forensic team by first using a presumptive blood test and then an amino black, a protein stain that detects the presence of cellular material. They detected shoe print showed a diamond-shaped pattern similar to the pattern of Vans type shoe sole. Now, I don't know if y'all have ever saw those, but it is a diamond type shaped print. I can see Brian wearing Vans. I don't know about you, but I can see him wearing Vans. That looks like what he would wear to me. If I was like, yeah, you're a Van guy. Brian Eaton is a very good guy. So now, this was located. Okay, I already read that part. They detected. Okay, similar to the just outside the door of DM's bedroom, located on second floor. This is consistent with DM's statement regarding the suspect's path of travel. So they have Dylan's phone, they have the cameras, they have the time of the crime, or window of when it happened. They also have that footprint, and it's being consistent with what Dylan was saying. As part of the investigation, an extensive search, commonly referred to in law enforcement as video canvas, was conducted in the area of the King Road residence. This video canvas was obtained any footage from early morning hours of November 13th, 2022 in the area of King Road residence and surrounding neighborhoods in an effort to locate the suspect or suspect vehicle or vehicles traveling to or leaving from King Road residence. I'm going to tell you guys what Brian did before he came to the house in a minute. This video canvas resulted in the collection of numerous surveillance videos in the area from both residential and business addresses. I have reviewed numerous videos that were collected and have had conversations with others, MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents that are similar reviewing footage that was obtained. A review of camera footage indicated that a white sedan, hereafter suspect vehicle 1, was observed traveling westbound on the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive in Moscow. Well, let's go look at that, shall we? I think we shall. All right. Where's Google Earth? Okay. I want to show you this. This was before he came to commit the murders. Let me show you. It's 700 block. 1 second. Indian Hills Drive. Okay. All right, now watch this. All right. Now, Brian, we have him sitting in this area on the side of the road for a minute, right? This is the 700 block of Indian Hills, right? And there's, so now let me show you what's near Indian Hills. Actually, I want to say it's News Nation or Court TV. Maybe it was Court TV did a video of it, like where you can sit by here. Oh, Moscow Police Department. Look at that. So he is literally sitting watching the Moscow Police Department before he goes and commits these murders. They have it right there. And this is kind of a hill, by the way. It's raised up. This is elevated than it is down here. This is just a big hill. It goes up, and you can see like over it. So he was wanting to know what was going on with the police department that night. And I don't think he was picking up an accomplice, in my opinion. He was watching the police movements to determine shift changes and average amount of officers on duty guaranteed. Bingo. Bingo. 26 more likes to 1,000. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. Come on, let's do it. Is the neck bruised, or is it a shadow and on the jaw near the ear? I think it's just irritation on his neck, to be honest with you. So it's interesting. He's there doing all of this right now. Let's continue. At approximately 3:26 a.m., he is on westbound and Steiner Avenue on Idaho State 95, approximately 3:28. On this video, it appeared suspect's vehicle 1 was not displaying a front license plate. So they have him on video at 3:28. He's not doing a front license plate. There's only, I guess, apparently a rear license plate. A review of footage from multiple video obtained from the King Road neighborhood showed multiple sightings of the suspect 1 starting at 3:29 and ending at 4:20 a.m. So he waits around about 51 minutes or so. He's driving around. Maybe he's trying to build himself up, talk himself out of it even. I don't know. Planning, waiting for them to go to sleep, thinking that they're going to sleep. We don't know. But that right there, even if they can just prove that, which they have at least 12. Thank you for getting 1,000, guys. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. If they can just prove that, he was driving around for 40 minutes planning it, which they have him at least 12 times being in the same exact area as 1122 King Street. But that right there is premeditated murder in itself. Premeditated murder in itself. It's out now? Okay. Let's see here. I sure can. Idaho 4. 1 second, and I will look. Oh, yeah. I already did this. Okay, let's go over the new discovery. Let's do that. Thank you. I knew that. I don't know why I didn't. Okay, here we go. All right, so this is the state of Idaho versus Brian C. Coburger. You texted it and emailed it. Thank you. All right, here we go. To the prosecuting attorney, come now, Brian C. Coburger, by and through the attorney of record, Ann Taylor, public defender, pursuant to Rule 16 of the Idaho Rules of Criminal Procedure, the Idaho Rules of Evidence, the 4th, 5th, 6th, 8th, 14th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States, and Articles 1, 2, 13, and 17, and the Constitution of the state of Idaho. Hereby request disclosure of information, evidence, materials pursuant to the ICR 16B 1-9 and a aforementioned constitutional provision, including but not limited to following information, evidence, and materials. 1. Statement of the defendant. Permit the defendant to inspect and copy or photograph any relevant written or recorded statement made by the defendant or copies, therefore, within the possession, custody, or control of the state, the existence of which is known or is available to the prosecuting attorney by the exercise of due diligence, and also the substance of any relevant oral statement made by the defendant, whether before or after arrest, to a peace officer, prosecuting attorney, or his agent, and the recorded testimony of the defendant before a grand jury which relates to the offense charged. Statements of co-defendant. Any written or recorded statement by a co-defendant and the substance of any relevant oral statement made by a co-defendant, whether before or after arrested, is response to interrogation by any person known by the co-defendant to be a peace officer or agent for the prosecuting attorney, which are otherwise revealed to the offense charged. Defendant's prior record. A copy of the defendant's prior record, if any, as is then or may become available to the prosecuting attorney. Documents and tangible objects. Permit the defense or the defendant to inspect and copy all books, papers, documents, photograph, tangible objects, and copies, and a portion thereof which are in the possession or control of the prosecuting attorney and which are materials to the preparation of the defense or intended for use by the prosecutor as evidence at trial or obtained for the belonging to the defendant. Report of examinations and tests. Permit the defendant to inspect and copy any result or reports of physical or mental examinations and of scientific tests or experiments made in connection with the particular case that are in the possession, custody, or control of the prosecuting attorney, or the existence of which is known or is available to the prosecuting attorney by the exercise of due diligence. State witness. Provide a written list of names, addresses, phone numbers, and or other reasonable means of contact for all persons having knowledge of relevant facts who may be called by the prosecuting attorney as witnesses at trial, together with a NCIC report and a Spillman report of any such persons. Provide the statement made by the prosecution witness or protective witness made to the prosecuting attorney or their agents or to any other official involvement in the investigation process of the case. This includes statements to employees of the prosecutor's office, such as witnesses, coordinating, and all members of any law enforcement agency that had any involvement in the matter. Expert witnesses. provide a written summary of the report of any testimony that the state intends to introduce pursuant to Rules 702, 703, and 705 of the Idaho Rules of Evidence at Trial or Hearing. The summary provided by must describe the witness's opinions, the facts and the data of these opinions, and the witness's qualifications. The underlying facts or data that form the basis of any expert's testimony pursuant to the Idaho Rule of Evidence 705, disclosure of the expert opinions regarding mental health shall also comply with the requirements of LC 18-207. Police reports. Provide to the defendant all reports, all memorabilia, and all, memoranda, I'm sorry, and all rough notes or field notes of any agents, officers, and investigators involving in the investigation or prosecution to the defendant in connection with the above entitled case. Digital media recordings, audio and video files. Release to defendant digital media that may or may not contain protective information as defined by LCR 16. The prosecuting attorney must state whether the disclosure customs protected information. My nose is itching, sorry. Unredacted digital media. Release unredacted digital media to defense counsel for the purpose of expediting a resolution in a case prior to trial or hearing. Redacted digital media. Provide redacted versions of digital media along with a written explanation of the information that was redacted. If the prosecuting attorney determines the digital media contains protected information requiring redaction prior to disclosure. Search warrant. Provide all documentation in support of any search warrant issued in connection with this case. Applications for search warrants, whether granted or denied, all affidavits, declarations, and materials in support of such search warrants, all search warrants, and all search warrants returned, and inventories. Exculpatory evidence provided to the defendant, all materials, evidence within the scope of Brady versus Maryland 373 U.S. 83 1963, United States versus Argos 427 U.S. 97 176, Kyles versus Whitley 514 U.S. 419 115 SCT 1555 1995, and their progeny, specifically any and all favorable or exculpatory evidence, information, and documents in possession of the prosecuting attorney's office or other agencies or person available to the prosecution through due diligence. One second. Inducement. Provided to the defendants all documents pertaining to the existence and substance of any payments, promises, leniencies, treatment, or other inducements or threats made to prospective witnesses within the scope of the United States. Gilligo 405 150 1972. Illinois 360 U.S. 264 1959, and their progeny. Identification, disclosure of whether a defendant or any other person was identified by lineup, show up, photo spread, or similar identifications proceeding relating to the offense charged, and production of any pictures utilized or resulting thereof, and the names, addresses, and telephone numbers of these identifying witnesses. Evidence pursuant to IRE 404 pursuant to ICR 16A requirement of mandatory disclosure. The prosecution must disclose the general nature of evidence of other crimes, wrongs, or acts it is intended to introduce at trial as required by the IRE 404 B State versus Grist 147 Idaho 205 P3D.1185 2009. Electronic surveillance disclosure of the defendant's status as an aggrieved person as defined to the 18C 25011, if applicable, copies and all records and recordings related to all electronic surveillance and set forth in writing the circumstances therefore. Drug test. Provide a copy of all documentations generated as a result of performed drug tests by the state's agent for drug identification purposes, including types of testing performed in the case, testing procedures, and or solvents used in the testing, comparative analysis performed, and number of experiments performed in each test. Subpoenas. Provide copies of each subpoena issued by the state to any person or entity, regardless of whether served or not, in connection with this case. Certifications. Provide verification of the hire date of all law enforcement officers that they may be called as a witness in the matter of who were involved in the investigation and or arrest in this case. Provided a copy of the post certification for the law enforcement officers identified above. And there you got it. You sent me an email. Okay. So they want everything. Everything is what they want, basically. Oh my God, look what's on the front page. Holy hell. 1 second. Let me just show you something. Well, it's Brian, but look. Not him. Wait, where'd it go? Well, where the hell did it go? Hold on. What? Hold on. You guys got to see this. I literally just seen this. Crap. Let me try it again. All right, let me just look at what this. Hold on. It was with Adventures with Purpose. They had news about him. Hold on 1 second. Founding member, a well-known search and recovery team arrested on child charges. Jared, a member of the nationally recognized search and discovery dive team Adventures with Purpose, was arrested last Thursday for 2 counts of child, according to jail records at, I wonder if it's got this on. Hold on 1 second. Okay, I'll find it in a second. According to the court document, Jared had sexual intercourse with a 9-year-old. Oh my God. In 1992, the document, which was filed on November 3rd in the 6th Judicial Court, says that he was 7 years older than her at the time. Utah does not have a statute of limitation for RAPE. The document accused Jared of having sex with a girl, allegedly one of their relatives, on 2 occasions. The announcement of charges in November led the departure to several team members. ABC Team 10 reported Adventures with Purpose in August 22 as the dive theme as they found missing Kylie Rodney's body in the car in Processor Creek Reservoir. Okay. Interesting. So they had a picture of him just like there a second ago. All right, let me check my email for this. Somebody sent me something. Okay. So John Webb states people are talking of some sort of cut on Kohlberger's chin jawline. I put a call in to see what it was, and they said it's just a shaving cut. Is that hair right there? That's the closest I've seen it now. Do you see that? Is that like unshaved hair, or is it bruising or what? Peanut butter and beans? Ugh. Not together. It looks like dead skin or a scab almost. If it's not hair. It's very weird looking. I mean, they got it real close up. You can see where it's still rough, but he deserves everything he gets. He deserves every effing thing he gets. His eyes still look like snake eyes. Damn right it does. That's just here. I could probably do this. I could probably zoom in further. Well, maybe. Hold on. I have to download it, and then I'll have to. Okay. Oh crap. All right. So here, I can zoom in further. Let me show you. See that? What is that? That. Is it neck hair or is it scab? Or is it neck hair scab? Oh, he not finished shaving. That's hair on the neck. Yeah. Oh my God. Jail looks very uncomfortable. Toilet bruise. What the hell is a toilet bruise? What's a toilet bruise? No, thank you. I thought it was a bruise. Who knows? He's I'm cracking up. All right, now let's look at this. Okay. What do you think? I've never heard of a toilet bruise either. I hope he's the guy because I feel bad. If it wasn't. Oh, I am pretty sure, in my humble opinion, it is him. I mean, unless you got like the worst luck ever by someone kind of describing you and your DNA being found at the scene, and then you traveled around the house about 3 times, and you sat in their driveway 12 times, that would be really, really bad luck. But other than that, it's him. Look at his eyes. That's what's scary to me. They are soulless creatures. Soulless. Look at those eyes. Very soulless. And you know what's crazy? A lot of times, serial killers, it depends on what type they are, but a lot of them, while they are killing you, they want you to look in their eyes. They want you to look in their eyes, and it is a form of power control. It is a thing of power control. One second, I'm getting some information. Okay. Okay. I'll turn the phone on if anybody wants to call in as well. I'll put my phone number up. We got to talk about some more stuff here. Yes, Justin, are you right about that? Right about what? Oh, about the eye thingy? Absolutely. Now there are, it's a control thing. That's why anytime there's serial, killers, they want control, power over you, your emotions, how you feel, all of that. FYI, everyone, keep in mind, he's never denied doing the crime. Well, Blonde Fox, and another thing, I mean, think about it. He said, like, when he got arrested, he said, well, was anybody else arrested with it? And that's just kind of like saying, hi, yeah, I did it, but maybe there's someone else. And he never denied, he said he felt horrible for the victims. When he first saw the judge. That's a good idea. I can try that. 615, keeping it alive.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. It's Natalie from Tennessee.
Hey, Natalie.
So I had some thoughts about the burglary charge.
Mhm.
I haven't really heard anybody talking about that very much, but I was thinking that, they don't just throw charges at people willy-nilly. They have a reason for doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And burglary, I looked it up in Idaho, burglary charges just anyone that has entered a home or a business or a barn or any place with the intention of committing a felony.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me start to think, they wouldn't put a charge up unless they had proof that he had done it, unless they had, well, I'll say compelling evidence, that he had done it. And obviously we've got the sheet from this bedroom and that, whatever, but that's not proof that he entered the home. So it made me start to wonder, I believe that they have some type of, whether it's a witness or, video footage or something. There's something going on there. They have proof that he entered the home. Because if they didn't, they would not have levied that charge against him. They would have just put the 4 murder charges, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it's my 10 cents, but.
Yeah. How do they do that? The murder or the breaking or the
burglary.
Burglary charges.
Yeah.
I forgot how we were talking about it the other day. And I forget what they said about his.
On what was it, on one of your streams?
Yeah, it was someone I had. Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah, he had to. It was because he had to break in to kill them, essentially, right?
He did.
Yeah.
But he had to break in to kill them. But there are 4 people in the home that are now deceased.
Correct.
That can't tell us if they let him in.
Well, nobody let him in. That's the breaking in part.
Well, that's the thing, though. Because those 4 beautiful souls are not with us anymore, we don't know if one of them may have, somehow, I don't know. One of them may have let him in.
Well,
so for the cops to say, for them to levy the charge of breaking and entering, or I'm sorry, a burglary, they would have to have some type of evidence that he in fact gained entry to the home without permission. So I mean, it was a little minuscule thing, but I thought it might.
Well, it's a fair point. It's a fair point, right? It is a fair point.
Yeah. Just something to think about. Like, what do they have? What do they? It makes me just say, what do they have? They may have.
Now,
obviously they haven't shown us everything.
I will say this, and this is speculation, and it is rumor, and it is not a fact what I'm about to say, because I don't know this, but I have heard that one of the girls had a necklace that she always wore around her neck.
Yes, I heard that too, and I may have heard that from you.
and it was gone, and it was gone.
Right.
So.
Right.
Well,
I will say this: when I was researching the burglary charge in Idaho, it did not necessarily include theft. I mean, because a necklace like that wouldn't rise to the level of felony. And in Idaho, from what I was looking up, I mean, I'm not an attorney or anything, but it was saying, entering some structure, some place with the intent of committing a felony. So stealing a necklace would not be committing a felony. That would just be a theft. So for them to say burglary, it just made me think. I don't know. It was just something I wanted to throw out.
And it was felony burglary as well. Felony.
So it would just, to commit burglary is to enter with the intent of committing a felony. So
that's right. You're right.
It just makes me say, like, They have,
And the felony
they
is
don't-
murder.
I mean,
The felony is
None
murder.
of us know
Yes,
that this person did this. We all assume, and he's the suspect, and he's innocent until proven guilty. None of us know. But for them to levy that charge to me tells me maybe they have something to show him entering that property.
To be honest with you,
Okay,
I think
that's
it's
what
the
I'm saying.
neighbor's camera.
You what?
I think it's the neighbor's camera. You know, they have him turning around there, right? Remember?
Right. Yeah. I
So-
mean, they've got so
so-
much more than we know about.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think there could be something where they actually saw him on the property or even entering the property. We don't know. Or they may have his DNA on the sliding glass door or the front door, wherever he entered the home. They may actually have something showing him entering the home.
Potentially.
Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out
I mean,
there.
like if
I'm
they've
having
got,
fun. I'm just,
go ahead.
you what?
No, I was just saying, you know, if they've got, they know where he parked, they know he turned around,
Right.
where he turned around a couple times, and they've got him going there, leaving, and you know, not only do I think they have him on camera, but I do believe his car, Bluetooth or Wi-Fi,
Right.
also, you know.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
I think
And
it's
I have a couple
things.
of other things. Do you mind if I throw them out?
Sure. Go for it.
Yeah. So one thing I was thinking about is people were like, well, why would he even bring the phone? You know, if he was going to turn it off, why not leave it at home? And there's multiple things people use phones for. You can put it on airplane mode and it won't report to networks,
Sure.
but you can still use your camera.
Yes.
You know, you can still, there's lots of things you can do on your phone. That's a little dark to think about, but maybe
Sure.
he wanted his phone for a camera. I don't know, or for a flashlight. You know, we don't know.
Potentially.
The other thing, what was the other thing? Golly gee. It flew away from me.
Okay.
Well, maybe I'll call in next time with it if I remember it. But I'm having fun. I'm sitting here listening, as I always do. You have a good rest of
Thank you,
your day,
dear.
Justin.
Thank you, my love. You too.
All right,
Appreciate
love
it.
you. Bye.
Love you. Bye. Yeah, that's interesting. I do believe that they have him through the neighbor's camera and across the street. They have him sitting there, and let me put the phone number up. I can put the phone number up. There we go. If anybody wants to call in, you are welcome to. Airplane mode still has Wi-Fi scanning on unless you turn that off. I didn't know about the Wi-Fi, but I know it still had some type of signal going. Yeah, the knife is no joke. It is definitely no joke. I wonder when he put that thumbprint on the knife, though. That's what I'm wondering. Is like, did he do this like before he even got there? You know what I mean? Oh my God, peace in a pod. That is so gruesome to think about. Can you imagine? You know, because they got those vests, right? You can put around your body. Wearing a GoPro. Oh my God. He would be done, in my opinion. The sheriff has confirmed him cutting himself shaving this morning. Thank you, Alabama, for. And Brian Enton and I think from WFLA said it as well this morning. Airplane mode won't save you. No, it won't. Okay, thank you for looking that up. Every person who enters any home, room, apartment, tenant, or other building with intent to commit any theft or any felony is guilty of burglary. That's good. Thank you. That really looks it up. I mean so if you're planning on going in any house to commit any theft or any felony, you are automatically guilty of burglary. Well, thank you, Trina. I love you too. I appreciate that you love my channel. Your service provider knows a lot more than you know. That's the truth. You're right. Next time we see him have a beard, probably. Oh my God, can you imagine shaving with those things? He is done, in my opinion. However, no evidence should be overlooked. Absolutely. We can't ever, like, prosecutors and everyone says, like, the moment you become too confident of your case is the moment you lose your case. So you don't ever want to, everyone. Yeah, he might have a beard next time, juror. You're right. He may. What? You can't wear a beard in prison, though, can you? Most injuries in jail are always labeled shaving, slipping, and fell. Just saying. Okay. The police don't know. That's why they have changed him. You don't think so? Interesting list. Incels are scary dudes with their rage and thoughts. They certainly hate women. They've got a bone. Thank you, Trina. They got a bone to pick with women, and I don't get it. It's like they harbor these just years of pent up frustration because of maybe a kid, a girl picked on them in school at some point, but they take it out on every female they've ever met, right? If you go to the clinic, they can give you a relief of shaving. What does that mean? A relief of shaving, like something to put on your face? In an individual. Do I think the co-defendant is an individual or a place? Place. 113. We're taken out of the room. I heard 113 items. Something is in that apartment, guys. I'm telling you. Something. I mean, they gave us the affidavit for the probable cause. They didn't give us what was in that apartment. Certain religions are allowed to grow their hair beards. Really? I mean, I know certain religions grew their hair or their beard, but I wasn't sure if you were still allowed to do that in prison. I hope they did let another prisoner have a little nibble of Daisy. Daisy says a little nibble. A little nibble, Daisy. That's funny. A sealed and search warrant or something huge came out of that apartment. Yes. And it makes you wonder, like, what do they have? Like, God only knows what is on his computer. Or did he make a list of something that, we have no idea about? Does he have pictures? Did he have a plan of, look at that coming in today? It's freak of nature, isn't he? It looks like he shaved with the doll razor. Well, it is a doll razor. I don't think he'll go free on a technicality. No, I don't think so. Oh my God. The O.J. Simpson, like, that thing is just like how, I don't know how anybody can ever get over that. BK's desktop computer he saved of the girls. Brian Kohlberger took Uh, telephoto pictures of girls at 122 King Road, Moscow, through windows from rear parking lot, and downloaded pics from camera to his desktop computer. We don't know that, do we? This is not a fact. Exactly. Okay. That is not a fact. People are saying that Brian took pictures out of the from the back of the house, but we don't know that. Look at people's memes right now. Is getting ready for his short court this morning with a cheap razor. And there he is again. What I call him, the razor burn. The wheels of justice grind slowly. Yeah, I think it's just gonna be where to go. I want to see
10 minutes or so, and we learned that they are going to have a preliminary hearing, which is a big deal, but it's not going to be until June 26th. So almost 6 months from now. So we are likely not going to learn much more about this case until June. The lawyer for Brian Koberger basically saying that they did want to have the hearing, but they needed time to go over all the details of the case. And the prosecution and the defense agreed that June would be a good time for that. They estimated that this preliminary hearing that starts in June will last anywhere from 3 to 5 days. And again,
preliminary hearing in
it's going to be
3 to 5
significant, Marnie, because at the preliminary hearing, the way the law works here in Idaho, more evidence.
So if everybody's computers
will come out and both sides
please don't lag.
will be able to question witnesses. So we may hear from people we haven't heard from before, like the surviving roommate who saw the killer walk by, according to police. Take a look at this video. I believe this is video. You know, this is actually not video from today. This is from last time, because I noticed Koberger was wearing a different outfit. You see there, this is from the last hearing last week. He was in a different shirt today. He was in a t-shirt today. When he came in, Marnie, very quiet like normal, didn't look back at anyone sitting in the audience, just sort of looked straight ahead, answered the judge's questions, and it was short, and things will sort of be at a standstill, at least for the public, until mid-June, Marnie.
Brian, inside of the courtroom, were the families present this morning? What was the composition of the folks who were allowed in?
Yeah, the families were not there from what we could tell, because last time they were in the front row and we didn't see any family members this time. I'm told that Kaylee Gonzalez's family decided that they were going to watch this on Zoom. It was just too much for them to be here today. I mean, you can imagine how emotional it is, Marnie, because it's a small courtroom. So where they sit in the front row, they're very, very close to Koberger, just a couple feet away, which is obviously extremely overwhelming to be that close to the man accused of killing your loved one. We're also told that the prosecutors have been in constant communication with the families. So basically they update them and let them know, look, this is going to be a significant hearing. We think you should be there, or this is going to be a short hearing, really just a scheduling hearing. And that was the case today. Very, very short. They just wanted to schedule this preliminary hearing. So the indication is the prosecution let the families know, like, hey, it might not be worth the hardship and the emotional toll of coming today. We'll just keep you posted with what happens.
Brian, describe what Koberger looked like, how he acted, any characteristics that stood out to you about his appearance this morning, different than when we saw him the first time in the video people are seeing now?
Yeah, so this is actually now the video from today, Marnie. And again, I can tell because of the t-shirt. I noticed that he was wearing a t-shirt today. So this is just from about a few minutes ago. So he looked forward the whole time, as you see. That's his public defender who did most of the talking. Didn't look back at all. Seemed a little fidgety when he first came in, but basically it had the same sort of vibe that he did the last other times, the last two other times that I saw him, the last time here in Idaho and the first time in Pennsylvania. His public defender did most of the talking, explained that that she had already reached out to the prosecution and that they agreed on this June date. And then the judge basically had to question Coburger and make sure that he was okay with waiving his right to a speedy preliminary hearing, because the way the law works here in Idaho, you're supposed to have your preliminary hearing within 14 days of getting arrested. This is obviously going to be 6 months out. So the judge had to get on the record with Coburger that he was okay with waiving his right to a speedy preliminary hearing.
I don't want to put the cart before the horse here, Brian, but if and when this goes to trial, is there any discussion yet about a change of venue?
There is discussion, not officially in court at this point, but everybody's sort of talking about it in town because it seems like that could be a very real scenario that both sides could possibly agree on. I mean, this is a very, very small town. It's a college town. A lot of people knew the victims or were somehow connected to the victims. Almost everybody is connected to the university. So, experts that we've interviewed really on both sides, defense attorneys and prosecutors, have said it might not be a bad idea to move the trial to perhaps a place like Boise.
Another step in what will be a long process. Brian Enton in Moscow this morning. We have learned now that a preliminary hearing will take place in June for Brian Coburger, charged with 4 counts of murder in the death of those 4 University of Idaho students. Brian, thank you for that update.
I want to show you something. Ethan's parents came out yesterday and they wrote, we've spent, make sure my mic's on. Okay, yeah, it's on. Okay. We've spent the last 8 weeks, besides the obvious, focused on Maisie and Hunter cards, talks, walks, hikes, tears, you name it. Yesterday, we successfully dropped them off back at the University of Idaho. Hunter was very glad to be back to the fraternity, and Maisie was warming up to the idea. But it was so good to hear all of the girls squealed with delight upon seeing her. It did this mama's heart good to hear it. The support from the University of Idaho and the MPD ISP has been profound. Maisie and Hunter are rock stars, and we couldn't be more proud of them. Their job now is to just be kids. Start where they left off, keep goals and aspirations in mind. For an update, anything we, Ethan, had is now frozen with the defense. For us, it involves 2 vehicles, Ethan's belongings, and a nice set of our golf clubs. We've met with prosecutors, handled media inquiries, hopefully respectfully, managed, grieved, talked with, and continued to try and process our new normal. However, nothing has changed. We spend no time being angry. That would be energy not well spent, and it is still wouldn't change the outcome. We have to look ahead. What we've confirmed, Ethan is who he was because of our family. His foundation was unwavering. He was so loved and he didn't know any different. He was profoundly supported, and our family of 5 was different than others, and so very, sorry. Or his foundation was, he was so loved and he didn't know any different. He was profoundly supported, and our family of 5 was different than others, and so very, and that's all I got on that. And then this is a picture of them when they were little. It's tough. Very tough. Oh, it's a special. He loved unconditionally. He was loyal to all and was inclusive, carefree, happy, just the best person you could ever meet. The stories are endless and amazing. He touched lives we had no idea existed. Ethan was incredible. We did a great job. We will still do a great job. And as always, we are eternally grateful to so many of you. We can't possibly reply to all your notes, but we read them all, and your kindness and support means the world to us. Quote, and I shall allow the memories to prod me into doing better, and that all those things still living. Nicholas P. Waterstoff, Jim, and Stacy. And that was it for that. So. Bless their hearts. Bless their hearts. Speedy trial. He had the right to waive a speedy trial, which means he wants it to take longer. They want it to take longer because there's going to be a lot that's going to cover this case. So the next hearing will be in June, which is 6 months from now, which we will essentially hear nothing from anyone for the next 6 months. From the families, we are not really allowed to hear anything that's going on. Any police or anything else, they cannot comment on this any further. So it is, from this point forward, it is crickets. Crickets. Yes, it is cuts from shaving. It has been confirmed. They called and it is cuts from shaving. Yes, I agree, Frida B. The good hearts are always taken from us. The evil is left for us to endure for years. These families are such amazing, beautiful people. God bless them. No, I believe he will plead innocent. I mean to say that I did know about the PADNA. Yeah, very, very sad. Yeah, so with that, guys, I'm going to leave it here. I've been on 3.5 hours. Thank you so much, Donna. I appreciate it. What is a speedy trial? You have the right to a speedy trial in this country, which means they would have to give him a trial, I think, within 6 weeks if he wanted it. But I don't think it's any shock to any of us that both sides, the defense and the prosecution, always want more time for a big case like this. They're still waiting for test results to get back. They still have to, get their witnesses in order, file motions, and continue and continue and continue. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. What other case was allowed to wait 6 months to plead? I don't know if that'll be, will he plead in 6 months or I think I don't know if he'll plead in 6 months or not. I think there's an update, a small court appearance before then, but it's not like the big where they'll actually talk to witnesses and stuff. In June, we will see like literally witnesses being there, and they will be able to cross-examine each other and all that. So guys, I just want to thank you for your time. It really means a lot to me. You could have chosen to be anywhere on YouTube or in the world right now, and you chose it to be with me and with this case. And for that, I am forever thankful for each of you. Thank you for your donations, your time, your thumbs up, and being here, most importantly, for the victims. It means a lot. God bless each and every one of you. Hopefully, I will see you guys later this evening. If not, I will surely see you tomorrow. Thank you all again for your time. And if you haven't hit that thumbs up or considered subscribing, I would appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.